Well, good morning, everyone. Before I get started, I'd just like to talk about energy for a second. We all talk about energy in terms of oil and gas and hydro. But when I think about energy, I think about what are the people that are in this room. Because it is the energy from all of the people in this room that will actually create the economy of Newfoundland and Labrador and grow it and build it. And I know when you walk in this room, you can feel that. You can feel it among all of the people that are gathered here. So on behalf of government of Newfoundland and Labrador, I just want to say thank you for what you do. And we look forward to working with you in collaboration along the way. And on behalf of Minister Parrott and my entire government, it's a real delight to be able to open the 2026 EnergyNL conference. It's especially meaningful for me, as this is my first EnergyNL conference as Premier. I have to say, it's fantastic to see such a full room. So let's start with a quick history lesson. When we assumed office last October, the last offshore oil and gas project that had received final sanction in our province was Hebron in late December 2012. That was a long time ago. And I looked it up. And if you think about it for a second, The Hobbit was the top movie at the box office. The song Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars was the top song on the charts. And the Toronto Maple Leafs had gone an amazing 45 years without winning a Stanley Cup. Fast forward to March 3rd this year, when I was proud, we were all so proud to sign a benefit agreements with Equinor to kickstart offshore oil and gas development once again. And let's go and revisit what I said earlier. So I looked it up again. And the #1 song was apparently called Choosin' Texas. And the #1 movie was unbelievably Scream 7. And the Leafs have now gone 59 years without winning a cup. And I'm sorry, I apologize to all the Leaf fans in the audience, because that's how Hab fans grieve. When we deal with the grief, we talk about the Leafs. But let me keep going here. More seriously, think about where we were in 2012. In the 14 years leading up to 2012, we saw the approval of Terra Nova, White Rose, and Hebron. 3 projects that have produced over 1 billion barrels of oil between them and generated almost 140 billion of economic activity in our province. In the almost 14 years between Hebron's project sanction in 2012 and our new benefits agreement on Beta Nord this year, we saw 0 projects approved. 0. So we ask ourselves, what changed? Well, here is a start. For 10 of those years, Newfoundlanders and Labradorians had to deal with a Prime Minister and a series of federal environment ministers who were happy to see our oil and gas sector fail. Now we have a new Prime Minister and a new government who actually want to build things and want to get things done. Mark Carney, Tim Hodgson, and Francois-Philippe Champagne, who will be here later today. They want to develop our resources. They want to partner with us and work with us. During the final negotiations of Beta Nord, I can tell you, Minister Champagne and I were in close contact in terms of getting that deal over the finish line. During the closing stages of the Beta Nord negotiations, the Prime Minister personally stepped up to ensure the federal government assumed all responsibilities under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. That was a $1 billion decision on its own. So let's park the party labels for a moment. And let me say this, in terms of competence, in terms of national unity, in terms of respecting all Canadians and putting our country's workers and economy first, the transition from Justin Trudeau to Mark Carney may well be the single biggest upgrade in prime ministers that we have seen in the entire history of our country. We actually have a pro-oil and gas partner in Ottawa. So now let me tell you something that hasn't changed over these 14 years. Our oil and gas sector has always been ready to lead. In 2025, there were over 4,100 people working in direct support of petroleum-related activity in the offshore area. In 2025, operators reported expenditures of $3.6 billion relating to work in the offshore area. Since 1966, cumulative expenditures have totaled about $84.5 billion. So the moment we told Charlene and her team that we were signing a new benefits agreement with Equinor, the team right here at EnergyNL were ready. They stand up and step up and told us that they are ready to go. This is a generational opportunity that will deliver real value to the people of this province. We've secured agreements that ensure Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are the primary beneficiaries of their own resources. The numbers speak for themselves. I'm just waiting here for a second. I think I've lost my teleprompter. Oh, here it comes. But beyond the numbers, this project means jobs, training, and opportunity. It starts with jobs. During the construction period, the Bay du Nord project will generate, at a guaranteed minimum, 3 million hours of fabrication employment. Over the course of its 25-year life cycle, this project will guarantee 31 million person-hours of employment in offshore and onshore operations. For the first time in the history of our province offshore, we also have a guarantee for full life-of-field benefits. From the first day to the last, these jobs and investments will be centered right here. And for the first time ever, this project includes a guarantee for apprenticeships, a minimum of 10% of all fabrication skilled trades jobs and 15% of all onshore operations skilled trades jobs will go to apprentices, paving the way for a new generation of Newfoundland and Labrador trades workers. But this story is about more than just one project. Because with Bay du Nord, we are not just building a project, we are building an entirely new sector. As part of this agreement, Equinor are stepping up to unlock a whole new industry by contributing $200 million to a fabrication fund that we will use to construct a new state-of-the-art, large-scale floating dry dock at Bull Arm. Building this dry dock will create hundreds of new jobs, long-term opportunities for our province's skilled trades workers. It will be proudly fabricated at Bull Arm, built by the hands and expertise of our own building trades workforce. We are using our offshore oil and gas sector as a springboard to launch a brand new vessel maintenance and repair sector and make Newfoundland and Labrador a national leader in this increasingly vital sector. And here's why this is important. Because the pent-up national and global demand for dry dock services is real. Wait times for commercial dry dock in Canada are between 12 to 24 months. For Coast Guard and naval vessels, it is between 24 to 48 months. Today, too much of this urgent work is being diverted to locations outside of Canada. When completed, we will bring this work home while becoming the hub of a new sector built around engineering and fabrication work. I'm also proud that as part of our benefits agreement for Bay du Nord, we have a commitment of $100 million to support research and development in the province, which will be a shot in the arm for our tech sector. These investments will create massive new direct and indirect opportunities for professional services, technology, logistics, and support businesses in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I know so many of you are ready to step up and face this challenge. I finally want to highlight this point. Beta Nord is not the finish line of our ambition in this sector. It is the starting line. You've heard me say before that Newfoundland and Labrador is back in the oil and gas sector, and I mean it. The sun is shining on our offshore, and here's what that looks like. Today, I am pleased to stand in front of you so you are the first to know that the Canada Newfoundland and Labrador Offshore Energy Regulator has informed our government that it is launching calls for bids today on 16 offshore parcels. 13 of these parcels are in the eastern Newfoundland region, covering 2.9 hectares. 3 more parcels are in the southeastern Newfoundland region, covering a further 777,000 hectares. To help get these bids off the ground, there is also a new condition in the call for bids package, which makes a major shift in how Newfoundland and Labrador supports offshore oil and gas exploration. In Budget 2026, we announced $90 million for the Offshore Exploration Fund. This condition will allow direct, confidential engagement with interested companies before the formal bid process. This gives us the opportunity to work with their proponents and seek commitments to explore frontier opportunities. These are not wells near existing discoveries. They are true frontier wells aimed at unlocking new standalone projects and creating more opportunities like Beta Nord. Our goal is to help de-risk investment, secure bids, and accelerate timelines for exploration. By providing up to $30 million in support of each exploration well drilled, the province is helping ensure exploration happens on a clear and agreed timeline, with additional value gained through the option of an equity stake in the event of a commercial discovery. This approach is about a proactive model to attract investment, drive exploration, and build the next generation of offshore projects in Newfoundland and Labrador. Ladies and gentlemen, the next big discovery is out there. The next Beta Nord is out there. Our province is going to be part of it. So let's get out there. Let's get exploring. Let's get growing. Let's put our province's resources to work for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. While other politicians in other places want us to be ashamed of being an oil and gas jurisdiction, let me tell you this. Under my government, Newfoundland and Labrador apologizes to nobody. We will always be proud to stand up for the oil and gas industry. This sector supports families, it creates jobs, it funds the public services people rely on every day, and we're backing that up with action. Today, our oil is reaching markets around the world, especially in Europe. We're a global supplier with even more potential ahead. We have the resources, the strategic location, the infrastructure, and the expertise to lead. Last year alone, our offshore produced more than 87 million barrels of oil, and with production at West White Rose coming online later this year, the outlook is even stronger. We all know investment doesn't just happen, it has to be earned. And that's why we're also focusing on making sure that that happens. Our goal is simple: to make Newfoundland and Labrador one of the best places in the world to do energy business. We've been actively promoting our province on the global stage, including at Zero Week in Houston, making sure the world understands the scale of our opportunity, and that scale, it's significant. The message is getting through, and interest is growing, and it continues to grow. Estimates suggest between 19.8 and 35.4 trillion cubic feet of recoverable natural gas resources. Much of it is in shallow water, close to existing infrastructure, making development more viable and attractive. We're now moving forward with consultations with industry and stakeholders on a new offshore natural gas royalty framework. This framework is intended to provide clarity, consistency, and transparency for potential investors. This will also be a key piece of our energy future. We have to develop these resources. We have to keep growing, because in Newfoundland and Labrador, decline is not an option. We are and will always be a pro-energy government. I stand to you today as a Premier who is also aware that our province has a long-term fiscal challenge. And right now, our province is at a turning point. We have always been rich in opportunity, whether it's oil, natural gas, our hydro, or the growing opportunities in renewable energy. We have seen what's possible when everything aligns. But we've also experienced the opposite: project delayed, opportunities missed, and uncertainty holding us back. And that's something we are going to change. And we'll do that in a way that creates real, lasting benefits for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Under the leadership of Minister Parrott, we are laying the groundwork for success across all forms of energy, backed by a new 10-year energy plan. That plan is being developed and will bring together oil, natural gas, mining, hydroelectricity, wind, solar, and tidal energy, because we believe in using every advantage we have. But you don't have to wait for the completed plan to know the principles that will underpin it. The end result will be jobs for local workers, opportunities for local businesses, and real lasting benefits for our communities. People have asked me about the future of Churchill Falls. And of course, when we talk about an energy plan, it includes renewables. We are uniquely positioned with abundant renewable resources, a highly skilled workforce, and a strong energy foundation. And that means we're not choosing between oil, gas, or renewables. We're doing it all because that's our strength. And this will, of course, include developing Churchill Falls and Gull Island. I know, again, that there's been a lot of talk about the future of Churchill Falls and Gull Island since the Independent Review Committee submitted their official report. For my part, my position remains consistent. I want a deal to develop Churchill Falls and Gull Island, and we will get that deal. But as the Independent Review Committee made it clear, the inherited MOU had serious flaws that must be fixed in order to get a deal done. Just as in the case in oil and gas, when it comes to the Churchill River, I am here to tell you that Newfoundlanders and Labradorians must always be the primary beneficiary of our own resources. And I will share with you the principles that will define our negotiating strategy. We are looking for 3 major changes. Let me tell you what they are. First, we require more power in order to develop our own economy, and in particular, the industrial and mining opportunities tied to the hundreds of billions of dollars worth of critical minerals in the Labrador Trough. Second, we require more value from the power purchase agreements at the heart of the deal, including a pricing structure for Gull Island that does not leave us stranded with billions of dollars in debt at the end of the power purchase agreement. And third, we require more transmission through Quebec so that we can retain the option to sell our allocated supply of electricity at market rates. I have spoken to Prime Minister Carney and Premier Frechette and believe that both in Ottawa and in Quebec, we have partners who want to get a better deal that works for all of us. So, whether we are talking about the offshore or hydroelectricity resources or anything else, we are a province that is not scared of big goals and always ready to build big things. I know each and every one of you are prepared to do your part, and I want you to know that our government is prepared to do our part too. We will work hard. We will plan for the long term. We will think creatively and work collaboratively with anybody who is ready and willing to work with us. We will stare down the forces who say no, and we will make Newfoundland and Labrador a province of yes. And we will always, always work with you, with our workers, and with everybody in our province to ensure that Newfoundlanders and Labradorians will always be the primary beneficiary of our own resources. This is the kind of province I want to live in, and it's the kind of government I intend to lead. I want to thank you for everything you do, in big ways and small, to make a better, brighter future possible for all of us. And thank you so much.